the COVID shock of March 2020, it actually devastated most of the industries out there, and the startup ecosystem was no exception. Sequoia Capitals, they had an internal memo, which they called it, according to which they called the coronavirus the Black Swan event of 2020. And according to NASSCOM, it was estimated that 40% of the Indian tech startups will be shut down by the year end. However, startups have shown resilience and many of them have recovered. And India has shown a rapid shift towards digital services. Just to give you a perspective, in the last year, there were around 10 unicorns that emerged. Overall VC investment value was around $10.6 billion. However, it was the lowest value in past 4 years. There were around 648 deals in 2020, which was the lowest in 6 years. So we can infer that the deals were high value deals. However, they were concentrated. So it was a kind of mixed year for the ecosystem. So let's see how this budget helps out the startups. Talking about the sectors where new emerging opportunities are coming up for startups due to budget. So what we have seen is that there is a high focus on social ventures and impact areas, where including healthcare, sanitization, water and air pollution treatment. So there's a possibility for a lot of startups in these areas, because government is undertaking initiatives like healthcare hospitals, information portal, mobile hospitals, cleaning water, waste management, air pollution. So there is a need for startups in these areas to work upon it and enhance the quality and efficiency of the system. Next opportunity is related to Atmanirbhar Bharat. We see that government is increasingly focusing on enhancing the manufacturing capabilities. So there's a lot of scope for startups by making supply chains efficient and using developing cutting edge technologies and competencies. So there's a scope for a lot of analytical startups that can work on aspects like automation of various processes. Artificial intelligence can be roped in, and also a new trend is manufacturing as a service. So a lot of a problem which is faced by a lot of Indian manufacturers is that they are not able to ensure quality for international clients. So a lot of companies are coming up, startups are coming up with the area where they'll be taking care of all the quality and coordination between the supplier and buyer. So manufacturing as a service is quite rapidly expanding. Next is your legal tech startups. Yesterday in the budget, it was announced that government will be launching data analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning for MCA 21 compliance, and they will be working on additional modules for aspects like e-consultation and compliance management. So there's a lot of opportunities coming up for legal tech startups, where not only people from the legal community but also from the technical community need to come together and work on platforms that can be seamlessly integrated across the MC21 platform. Next is your energy analytics. We have seen yesterday that government is working on giving options to consumer about which power distribution company they want to subscribe to. So this will automatically enhance the competition in the power distribution sector, and consumers will now have a better choice to select the company with which they want to be associated with. So that means these power distribution companies will have to work on enhancing their efficiency and delivering a better customer service. So startups need to work on power analytics to enhance this customer experience and also enhance the distribution efficiency. Next sector is your fintech. So one of the biggest winners from the budget was your digital payment industry, which has received an allotment of about 1,500 crores for a new fund, which will accelerate growth in the digital payment industry. This was much needed because due to the pandemic, a lot of small businesses and first-time consumers have become used to your digital payments, and this new fund could be seen as a compensation because there were losses incurred by the industry, such on aspects like waiving off of MDR, that's merchant discount rates on UPI and RuPay. Uh, this waiver off was done in the budget of 2019. Another trend in the fintech industry is that government is working on setting up a uh, fintech city in Gujarat, Gandhinagar. So this fintech hub, it will serve as a multi-service finance hub in Gujarat, and it can also ease startup funding via GIFT City IFC route. As per this scheme, many of the international funds can relocate to India, and they can avail tax exemptions. The budget will be working on offering new incentives for units under this scheme, under the GIFT City Gandhinagar. Next will be solar energy. Currently, most of the solar equipments are being imported from China, and government is working on enhancing the domestic capacity. So there is a need for local technology startups, and government is enhancing the domestic capacity by imposing a duty on on imports that are coming from China. So this will create a lot of opportunities for the solar sector. Another area is your automatic train protection scheme. So in yesterday's budget, railways is going to be working on a technology that can reduce or eliminate train collisions due to human error. So there are options for startups to work on this area, and currently there are startups that are working on in the road sector to avoid collisions between vehicles. So a similar technology is needed for the rail sector as well. So next point we'll covering is about the regulatory framework due to the budget. So first is your OPC compliance. So government has incentivized the incorporation of 1% company by allowing OPCs to grow without any restriction on paid up capital and on turnover. And this can be easily converted into any other type of company at any time. So to give a personal story from OPC, so my firm is also OPC. The reason I had to start a OPC was, I wanted to start with a friend. However, the person was a good friend, but I did not consider him to be a good co-founder. So, and other option which I had was either include some of my relatives in the company, but they would not have added any value to the organization. So, that is why going for OPC was a better thing, because it helps me to reduce my liabilities, because in case something goes wrong, the liability is restricted to the company, not to me. The another thing is my personal assets are protected in case of any default. Usually what people when they're starting alone, they go for sole proprietorship, but they face difficulties like they can't raise equity funding and are not eligible for various government schemes. What government has also done as part of relaxation for OPC compliance is that they have allowed allowed NRIs to also incorporate OPCs in India, and they have reduced the residency limit for Indian citizens, which was earlier 182 days. It has been reduced to 120 days now. Next point which I'll be covering is about the tax holiday eligibility. So in the past, norms for tax holidays were on profits which were realized by startups. They were eased. A 5-year tax holiday on ESOP was there, and there was a 10-year tax exemption for startups having a turnover below 100 CR, which was before 25 CR. So last year, due to the pandemic, government extended this tax holiday, and they have, as part of this budget, they have increased this tax holiday for one more year. So these startups don't have to incur any tax on their profits. The next point is your capital gain exemptions. So as per Finance Act 2012, if any investment is made in a startup above its fair market value, then it would be considered as an income from other source, and the startup would have been liable to pay a tax on it, and this tax was called as angel tax. So a lot of criticism was drawn against this tax. So this tax was it was exempted in 2019, and exemption was given, and even this year government has proposed to extend this capital gains exemption for investment in startups by one more year till 31st March 2020. Next thing which government has done is the simplification of GST norms, that is including options of nil returns to SMS, quarterly returns and monthly payments for small taxpayers, electronic invoice systems, validating input tax statements, pre-filled editable GST return, and staggering of return filing. They are trying to reduce these aspects. Another issue is about the taxation. So there are at times startups can face a lot of tax issues with the authority. So government in last year in Paris has come up with this direct tax Vivad Se Vishwas scheme, where taxpayers can settle long-term pending disputes, and because what happens is that if a dispute runs for long, I mean it spends a lot of time for the promoter of a business, and now even a reassessment case can be open only till 3 years, because earlier it used to be that that a case could have been open for 6 years. That was a long time for anyone, for any business owner to properly focus on your business. In case of any like if it's a bigger default case, the case can be open till 10 years. The next thing is government will be working on constituting a dispute resolution committee, where it will be a faceless committee where if anybody with taxable income up to 50 lakhs and disputed income up to 10 lakhs can be eligible, and they can get their issues resolved by the committee. This would increase efficiency, transparency, and accountability in the system. Access to capital. So as our Honorable PM said before the budget, that the budget must be viewed as part of a series of mini budgets. So the main areas of focus are these: Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, funds are funded by SIDBI, and allocation to DPIIT. So I'm sure everybody would have heard about this seed fund scheme. So the fund scheme is a 945 crore Startup India Seed Fund Scheme that will be operational from 1st April of this year, and the funds will be disbursed till 2025 through selected incubators across India. And for a startup to be eligible to get funds as per the scheme, they need to be recognized by DPIIT, and they should not be incorporated not more than 2 years ago at the time of that application. And they must have a business idea to develop a product or a service that has a market fit, it can be commercialized, and it can be scaled up. So startups should be using technology as a core product or service or business model or distribution model to solve a problem. The preference would be given to startups that are creating solutions in sectors such as social impact, waste management, water management, financial inclusion, education, agriculture, food processing, technology, healthcare, energy, defense, mobility, railways, space, textiles, and oil and gas. Startups should not have received more than rupees 10 lakhs of monetary support under any other central state government scheme prior up to applying for the scheme. However, this support does not include any prize money, subsidized working space, etc. Also, the shareholding of the company should be around 51% should be owned by any Indian promoter at the time of applying to the incubator for the scheme. The second part is your funds of funds scheme by SIDBI. This was started in 2016, and SIDBI is the nodal agency for FFS. So initially, as of this January, they had around 13,600 crore of as a corpus under management, of which around 6,000 crore has been committed to distribution. 134 startups have been granted funds, and even last year, government had to reduce their corpus because due to this pandemic issue. Earlier this year, the estimates were that government will be allocating something around 430 crore to this funds of funds, but government has allocated around 830 crores. That's approximately double of that amount. Similarly, the budget for last year was around 1054 crore, but they had to reduce to 429 crore. So this year government will be spending a lot of money through this funds of funds schemes by SIDBI. Similarly, to a lot of allocation has been done to DPIIT, and it initially was supposed to be around 7,500 crore for last year, and this year it has been increased to 7,700 crores. So these are the budget highlights for startups.